Hey, what's up guys? Matt with BAAM Ranch. We're back at you for part 2 in our video about tools to survive, the end of whatever or fix just about damn near anything that you need that's broken. If you haven't caught part 1, go back and catch that. That's got your main bread and butter tools. What we're discussing now is power tools and just the other things that just make your life so much easier. And there's some necessary stuff in there too as well. So anyway, if you'll go ahead and hit the like button, we'll jump over, get started with pry bars.
Pry bars. I've got an assortment of pry bars. Small pry bars, a couple of them here. Yeah, ladies' foot pry bars. Of course, that one has seen better days. I've got small ones too. These are nice for, of course, lining up bolt holes and stuff. I'm not going to get all of my pry bars out, but needless to say, you need to have some pry bars. This right here is considered more of a carpenter's tool, but I use it in mechanical stuff all of the time, man. These are great for disc brakes, by the way. You can get in there and push that piston back with these really well. They make a special tool to do that. I can do it twice as fast with this. More pry bars. I've just got a bunch of them. You need a bunch of them. You can never have too many pry bars. I've got, some little ones in here too. Little bitty flat bar. That screwdriver, let's see, where should we go next? Let's go to my little junk drawer that I made. It just holds a variety of stuff that goes in a junk drawer. What else do you want me to say? Headlamp, absolutely important. And then a little portable work lamp. That's important too. Different levels of brightness. This one actually both of these came from Harbor Freight. I bought them because they were on sale. I love these. I don't have any intention on replacing these. I love them. Great headlamp and great little rechargeable work light. It lasts forever. I filmed a bunch of YouTube videos with this. I'm impressed. What is it? The Braun? Yeah, Braun. These are really good. I'm impressed with them. Battery thermal cleaners, hemostat. These are nice. These get used a lot. Tire pressure gauge, an assortment of little brushes for cleaning stuff. And while we're talking about cleaning stuff, a flexible putty knife. And keep it sharp. Sharpen these. I keep that one not razor sharp, but I do keep it decently sharp. Picks. You got to have your picks. These, think about all the little plastic clips that hold in all the connectors for cars and stuff. You can reach in there and lift that up with a pick just fine. Getting in there and pulling out an O-ring. That one's really good for O-rings. I've got a whole set in here. I'm not going to dig them out, but I've got them. Piece of fuel line. I've got this one here, and I keep some down below also. Whenever you've got, a bolt or something that, pretend this is a bolt or a piece of rod, I don't know, reaching in there and guiding a bolt into its spot when you kind of got to, give it a little bit of push. You can push with one of those spark plugs. If you have a spark plug fall down that won't come out of the hole and you can't pull it out with a, with a magnet, you can take this and use it to start spark plugs. Draining fuel. I've drained fuel through this into a fuel can. Indispensable, absolutely indispensable. Cold chisels and punches. I've got a whole bunch of different ones. Scraper, one of these little razor blade scrapers. scraping gaskets, use it for anything you'd use this for. Although I would rather use this on a windshield or something than I would this. I use them both quite a bit. Like I said, I've got a whole bunch of picks in here. They get used all the time. Yes, I know you have an awesome pocket knife. I do too. But normally when you're working on stuff, one of these guys is the actual right tool for the job. I know I've got something in here that I'm going to see and think, man, I should have mentioned that. Sharpies. I keep several of them. I like to keep a black one, a blue one, and a gray one. And I also keep a lumber crayon. Steel wool. Punches. I'm not going to dig them all out, but an assortment of punches, cold chisels. This right here, this is I think they call it a cape chisel. I'm not sure. If somebody knows the actual name for these, leave it in the comments below. I think it's a cape chisel. And I think they're meant for working like inside of a keyway of a shaft or something. So if this was a big shaft, not a very, okay, pretend this is a long shaft, but they'll have a keyway in there, you know, that a motor mounts to or something like that. I think it's for cleaning those out. I don't use it for that. I normally am using this thing as a wedge of some kind. Like if you've got an inner race for a bearing that's stuck on a shaft, you can put that in there, drive that out, break it loose. Two mating surfaces. You gotta be careful if it's a gasket surface, but sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do, right? Two surfaces that you need to split and pull apart. Man, this thing right here, it's the ultimate wedge. Can you do it with a cold chisel? Yeah. These just work great. While I'm on that subject, see that? How it's all mushroomed over? Don't let that happen. Keep them dressed. There's one that's dressed okay. I need to take that to the grinder and clean that off. Little chunks will fly off of that and cause a nuclear reaction or put your eye out or something crazy. Tire chucks, some of this epoxy putty stuff. This is what, steel sticks? This gets used a lot, man, like a whole lot. Cleaning stuff. A Scotch-Brite, some steel wool. I was playing with it earlier. I don't know where I put it. I have destroyed this thing, by the way. I gotta spend so much time putting all this back. Oh, look, a dime. A bit kit. Jigsaw blades, those don't go in there. Tape measure. Sometimes you just need to know how long something is. A piece of fuel line or brake line or something. You measure it, see how long it is. Sometimes you got to do it. Clamps. I keep quite a few clamps. These small spring clamps, I keep them just attached to the legs of this cart. I've got those. Oh, back to the scraping and cleaning. This, I wind up using this a lot. This is handy. You can get in there and kind of, same with the picks. You know, if there's a part number or something, you really get in there and scratch that out. They work great. Clamps, seat clamps. I've got several of them in all different sizes in here. Wire brush. I showed you the small one. There's my bigger one. This one's relatively new. I actually had to replace this recently. I completely wore out a wire brush from cleaning crap. What else we got down here? Oh, this. I made this. Super tactical sewing. This just holds a bunch of little bits. All sorts of different types of bits and specialty things to go in the end of a screw gun. It's just a convenient place to keep them. This is cool. What are these? What is this? Viewtainer. I got this at a garage sale I bought something else and this was just in there with it. And I did not realize how awesome this thing was. But if you've got little bolts and stuff that say you're going to put a project up and come back to it the next day, all those little nuts and bolts or little plastic clips or something, just take and push them down in the top. Got my finger stuck in it, and it keeps up with them for you, and you can kind of somewhat see what's in there. They get pretty scratched up. I've got several of these. I need to look, and I probably need to buy some more. And then, you know, the next day when you come back to your stuff, you just dump out your little nuts and bolts or clips or whatever it is you're trying not to lose. So yeah, that actually belongs up top. Wire. Scrap wire for wiring stuff, right? More cleaning stuff, canned air. Sometimes, yes, I know, air compressor or whatever. Sometimes you're not always by an air compressor, and this is what you got. And sometimes this is just what's handy. Let's talk about penetrating oil. The best penetrating oil I have ever used is this, Cano Croil. I also keep it in this big bottle. This is man, I bet you that's 10 years old. I haven't filled that in 10 years. Just a little short zap of this stuff. A little drop of it on some rusted bolts or something, or if you've got a steel bolt going into an aluminum head, you know, dissimilar metals that, you know, everybody knows how bad those are of corroding. Awesome. Cano Croil. Absolutely amazing. What is this? Multi-purpose lubricant. Somewhere, it should be in here. I've got some silicone lube, and it doesn't attract the dust and stuff like this does. I need to find that and put it back in here. I don't know where that's at. It's just some gun oil. Sometimes you need something that's a little bit more viscous for lubrication purposes rather than a penetrant purpose. These twist ties. You need twist ties. And what I'm going to say is most people buy either these or zip ties come like this. They'll cut the end of it and then they all fall out. Cut them in the center. This works with zip ties too. Cut them in the center. You can still get in there and get them out, but then they don't fall everywhere. What I use these for is for cleaning stuff. When you're thinking about taking apart a carburetor, and you have those little tiny, tiny orifices in the jets and things like that, cut away that outer sheath, and what you're left with is the tiniest of little wires. And that, my friends, is perfect for getting in there and cleaning out those little tiny, tiny orifices. Sometimes you can, and I've done this before, I've done videos showing y'all this before as well. You can take a pair of needle nose pliers and rip a string out of your wire brush. That'll work also. Although these are pretty hard. I worry about them scratching, you know, the inside of those delicate brass orifices. These are pretty soft. They don't tend to do that near as bad. Couple of pipe clamps in different sizes. I keep some of those down here. What else we got? Fencing pliers. I don't use these a lot for mechanical stuff, but if they're here, I know where they are and I don't have to hunt for them. So they live here as well. Okay, let's talk about some test equipment. My test light, I just noticed it in here. I showed y'all the magnet, right? Extendable magnet. There we go. Flashlight. This right here is a Fluke 87. These are kind of, I'm all tangled up here. These are kind of the gold standard, would be the Fluke 87 for your digital multimeter whatever you want to call it. This gets used a lot, an awful lot. I got this used. These are several $100s for the Fluke 87. And I think this is a generation or two behind. You don't need a Fluke. Multimeters are actually pretty good now. You can get the ones like the store brand ones, and for most purposes, they work just fine. We're testing stuff that doesn't have to be absolutely precision. Generally, we're testing ohms, continuity, and volts. Does it have voltage? Does it have the correct resistance of a sensor, for your truck or whatever? So that's that kind. And then you also kind of need one of these. And this one is, oh, that reminds me, this goes in here. See these little jumpers? They're just, have some alligator clips on the ends of them. Make you some of these. You'll use them all the time. But, okay, I'm not gonna get the leads and stuff out of here, but if you're working on electrical equipment, this is for electronics. This is for electrician type work. Does that make sense? Let you test amperage. If you've got a well pump that's not quite doing right, or anything that's like 3-phase, you can go through and find out if something's dropped a leg pretty easy. See if something's pulling too much current or if it's not pulling any current. These are just a whole lot handier for, I left that on. The battery went dead. Huh. Dang it. I gotta replace that battery. Damn it. Oh well. For like household work, these are a lot better, a lot easier to use. Of course, they test volts and amperage, and I guess that's about it, They just test live circuits. You use them a lot, or I use it a lot in stuff that has motors in it. It's primarily when I use this. I've used this a ton for diagnosing problems with wells, air conditioning issues, air conditioner units and stuff. I've used it a lot for that. But yeah, so you really need two electrical, you need your normal, volt ohm multimeter, and then you need one of these. I call it the clamp meter. Somebody is going to tell me I'm calling it the wrong name and let me know. All right, so power tools. This is not the construction toolkit, right? That's a different toolkit for a different video. This is for mechanical maintenance and repair. And for mechanical maintenance and repair, nothing beats the 12-volt stuff. If you're building a house or building a deck, you're going to need to move up to something that's the 18 or 20 volt or whatever your favorite color of tool likes to call it. I've got the Milwaukees on the 12 volts, mainly because the form factor of how small I can get this battery. With that being said, I don't ever use the small battery. I use the larger batteries if I can. So that's a moot point. But they're lighter weight, they're just, the 12 volt stuff just works better for mechanical work, right? It's lighter, it's easier to carry, it fits more places, smaller, all of the things, right? Of course, that is not quite, the gap between the size is shrinking. You could probably get the full 18 volt stuff and it'd be just fine nowadays. But anyway, regular old cordless drill, everybody knows and loves it. A 1/4 inch hex screw gun. This thing has been through hell. I have beat the crap out of this thing. I've left it in the rain. It's been abused. I've used it to kind of hammer bolts in. This thing has been abused bad. It is, oh gosh. There's no telling how many generations old this thing is, but I don't even know if they sell it. It's had to have been discontinued, and I need to replace it, but it won't die. It just keeps going. So I've still got it, and I keep hoping it'll die so I can replace it. What these are nice for is you put your hex adapters in there, and use this one for all of your 10 millimeter bolts, and this one for everything else. 3/8 drive. So yeah, get you one of those as well. Of course, they work great for screws and stuff, and everything is held together with 1,000 little 10 millimeter bolts, and being able to go through and buzz, 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 buzz in under 45, 60 seconds, and take all of that cowling and everything loose. Or, I mean, do you want to sit there with a ratchet? There's no question about it. You're wasting everybody's time. Your time is worth something, even if you're not being paid for it. You need an impact, 1/4-inch hex impact screw gun, let alone the fact for screws, all the little screws, Phillips head screws. Now, moving up, okay, I had heard about these M12 fuel stubby impacts. I have to tell you, I'm impressed, man. This thing will rip the lug nuts off my truck just fine. I am consistently surprised with how much punch this thing packs. This right here, I'm gonna say will do almost everything that my old Ingersoll Rand 1/2-inch pneumatic impact would do. This thing is a little beast. I wouldn't get rid of this thing for nothing. This is my favorite power tool that I own. One more thing.
I love you. Good night.
Love you. Good night.
Make sure to turn off your flashlight.
Oh, okay.
Love you.
Love you.
This guy right here. There's a story behind this, and I'll get into it. 3/8 ratchet. Okay, so I had always had the pneumatic air ratchets, and I loved them, right? They're not near as fast as these, but they go places. This will go places this won't. And used it all the time. I loved it. And I had looked at, like Snap-on in Milwaukee. They're so expensive, man. And then I was at Harbor Freight one day, and this was on sale, and this was like the ultimate impulse buy. So I got this thing. The battery died. I stuck it on the charger, and I love it, man. I've already decided that I need to buy like a proper one of these from probably Milwaukee. I think Milwaukee's kind of got the best one out there. Plus, I'm already invested in the batteries, right? But this thing won't die. It keeps going. And I think they discontinued it. This is the Earthquake. They have another brand that they're selling now. I haven't used it. But like I said, this thing won't die, so I'm still using it. Let's see, what else have I forgotten? I know I've forgotten something. I'm not sure what. I think that's everything. Oh, little hacksaw. Just a little tiny hacksaw, not a full-size hacksaw. This does most of what I need, so that's all that I keep on here. Like I said, this isn't a comprehensive every tool you need, but this stuff right here, if you've just got this stuff, there is very, very little that you can't take care of. And yeah, I guess that pretty much wraps it up. It took a long time to come up with this, but maybe this kind of gives you a little bit of electrical tape. You got to have that. A little bit of a direction on, guidance on maybe how you might put your toolkit together. And let me know, what do y'all like to use? Well, anyway, I spent all that time organizing this thing and putting everything exactly how I wanted it. So I'm not doing that again. Not tonight anyway. It's 10 minutes till my bedtime, so I'm actually gonna go to sleep. I'm just throwing all this stuff in here, and we'll fix it tomorrow. All right, well, until next time, thank you for watching. You guys be safe. And hey, I'll post another little video up here in one of these corners or somewhere. You should watch that one too. All right, until next time, y'all be safe.